The Epstein
Government
Files
released what it
explained.
called the final batch of files on Jeffrey Epstein. But here's the big question. Did it actually provide any closure, or did it just blow? Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a story that was supposed to be over. The U.S. government released what it called the final batch of files on Jeffrey Epstein. But here's the big question. Did it actually provide any closure, or did it just blow the doors open to a whole...
This thing was like 3 million files brought together. I don't understand how they expect someone to go through everything. But even after a lot of time, people are still going through more of it and discovering more stuff. These files are really, really, really creepy, dog. These files are creepy like heck. It's quite annoying if I say so myself.
Whole new set of questions. So the release had literally millions of pages, but the one thing that immediately grabbed headlines all over the world...
3 million pages to be specific. Not 3 million pages, but more than 3 million pages around that, you know what I'm saying?
...world was a single really...
The question is, though, are they going to... They said they're not going to release more, but that doesn't mean that that is everything they have. Because the most likely have more than that, they just don't want to release it. Well, it is what it is.
A cryptic photograph.
And this is the one. It reportedly shows Prince Andrew with a woman who hasn't been identified. But that's it. That's all we know. It was found mixed in with thousands of other images, but it came with absolutely nothing. No context, no location, no date. It's almost the perfect symbol for this whole document release, isn't it? It seems to reveal something huge, but in the end, it just leaves you with way more questions than answers.
And you know, that one photo is really just the tip of the iceberg. It's part of this massive dump of documents from the U.S. government, which was sold to us as the final word on the entire Epstein case.
Yeah, the government was very clear. They called this the final batch. And the stated goal
final
here was
batch,
all
but,
about
like, I don't think that's
transparency, about
everything
bringing
now,
closure to what has been just a long, incredibly painful saga. But, as we're about to see, that's not exactly how everyone saw it. So as journalists and investigators started the massive job of digging through these millions of pages, they started to, connect some dots. And a few very, very well-known names started to pop up. Inside these documents, you've got this whole mix of emails, claims, and correspondence that involves some seriously powerful people. We're talking royalty, major political figures, and even titans.
Prince Andrew inside the Epstein Files is actually pretty wild, like... The Prince Andrew in the Epstein Files, like, we saw a picture of him on top of it. Oh my god. I can't even describe it on YouTube because, but it was some pretty weird photos of Prince Andrew. And Bill Clinton too. Those are really creepy, I'm not gonna lie. And Jeffrey Epstein's one was actually obviously creepy because it's Jeffrey Epstein, but like, all these other people that are connected to him. That's how you, that is true, but what do you call it? Prince Andrew was stripped the title of Prince because of whatever all the BS that I did. So it just called him Prince or whatever.
Of the tech world.
That's Andrew. Yeah,
so,
Andrew, not
beyond
Prince.
that photograph we talked about, the files also brought to light this email chain from 2010. And it's important to remember this is long after Epstein's first conviction. In the email, Epstein offers to introduce Prince Andrew to a woman he describes as, quote, 26, Russian, clever, and beautiful. And this was Prince Andrew's alleged reply. It indicates he would be delighted to see her, and then asks if she would be bringing a message from Epstein.
Good. There were some other creepy things I saw that Epstein Files with Prince Andrew, but and the funny thing about this is that Prince Andrew was seen outside just riding the horse or something. Like, bro, after all this weird stuff about you, bro, just like chill, just out here in public. Like, what are you doing, like, bro? What are you doing?
The files also revealed some new details about the financial ties that existed in Epstein's circle. For instance, they include a claim that Epstein sent £10,000 to the partner of Lord Mandelson, who's a really prominent British public figure, to pay for an osteopathy
Everybody's
course.
this side stuff.
In response to
Lord Mandelson, I think that Lord Mandelson is one of those elites from one of those countries, one of those elites in one of those European countries. So I can't remember. It's called, is it Norway or something like that? I can't remember.
All this, Lord Mandelson has come out and called his friendship with Epstein a most terrible mistake.
Of course,
he also made a
say
point to
that,
stress
like,
that he had
duh.
no idea about Epstein's crimes at the time. All right, the files also included some correspondence with tech billionaire Elon Musk. Now, it's important to say he hasn't been accused of any wrongdoing at all,
but the emails do show him asking Epstein about a possible trip to his island, and he specifically asks what day will be the wildest party.
Musk himself actually responded to this on his platform X. He said he had very little correspondence.
The funny thing about this Elon Musk thing is that it was saying that he was invited for the parties, but he never decided to come. He said he rejected the offer multiple times. But from the files, it seems like he's the one asking to be invited to the parties. And, like, bro, as I said, they were rejecting him from the party. So he wanted to come, but they didn't want him there. But what I'm suspecting is either Elon Musk is absolutely lying, like it's just a cap, dude, like bro wanted to go to the party, or because since Elon Musk was advocating for the files to be released, maybe he wouldn't have, if he actually went to the party, like he wouldn't have been advocating for the files to be released. So the only thing is that maybe Elon Musk was just so dumb, like he's smart as a guy, he's very smart dude, like it didn't, because some people were posting that on X, and it seems to be like trying to use that as a cop-out, like it didn't understand what exactly they were meaning by what language they're saying. So it was like, oh, wildest party, yeah, I want some wild parties, but it didn't really understand. But yeah, right. This is so silly. Like, why he clearly wanted to go to the parties, but maybe he just didn't understand. He didn't understand what exactly they're talking about. Who knows? Or so he would say
with Epstein, and that he turned down invitations to the island. He also noted that he was aware his emails could be twisted by his detractors.
Microsoft founder Bill Gates was another name that came up.
Bill Gates was one of the weirdest ones. Because, Bill Gates was it's not so incriminating, but it was one of the weirdest ones. And Melinda Gates even commented on it, about the fact that that she was just so sad about it. I'm like, yeah, of course. And she didn't seem to be surprised about the stuff that happened. Of course, Bill Gates denied it, but she didn't seem to be surprised about it.
Draft email written by Epstein but apparently never sent that suggested Gates had gotten a sexually transmitted disease. Again, I want to be really clear here. Just like with Musk, Gates has not been accused of any wrongdoing related to Epstein. A spokesperson for Bill Gates has come out and said unequivocally that the suggestion in that unsent email is...
Of course they're going to deny it. Of course they're going to deny it. But the email basically said that Bill Gates got STDs from Russian girls. Like, that seems to be a trend in all of this. The Russian girls thing seems to be a trend. Like, there are so many of those. So that's also, it's kind of implicating the Russian government to be somewhat involved in this, because there's also seems to be a relationship between Putin and Epstein. Yeah, everybody's freaking connected, and it's so upset. It's so annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course they're connected, but do it. Like, come on.
Absurd and false. Okay.
And also from the emails, like, Bill Gates was trying to give antibiotics to his wife without unknowing, because he got the STD. Like, it's just so weird, you know what I'm saying? Just so weird, and like, of course, all these elites, they're just creepy dudes. Like, all of them are just creepy dudes. Just so weird.
So this is where things get really crucial. This entire release has basically created two completely different realities. First, let's look at the official story from the U.S. government. As these documents were being made public, the Assistant Attorney General came out and said they hoped this would bring closure to the victims. The whole thing was framed as the final healing step in a long legal process.
But for many of the victims themselves, this release wasn't closure. Not at all. In fact, it was the exact opposite.
And this right here gets to the absolute heart of the conflict.
Like, the thing a lot of people are saying is that we wouldn't rest till we see people get arrested. Like, because from what you heard initially was that there are a lot of accomplice, blackmail and stuff like that. So I guess the Bill Gates stuff could be blackmail, like if the Epstein was trying to use on Bill Gates, but everyone's like, we are all the accomplices, we are all the clientelists. We ain't seen nothing. We ain't seen none of that. So most likely all this document got destroyed. That's most likely the situation, and most of all the documents got destroyed. And that's so annoying because you promised to give it to us, especially Donald Trump. That's what he was running for, you know what I'm saying? And turns out he's in the files. Of course, Donald Trump is in the files.
What the Department of Justice was calling closure, advocates for the victims are calling a betrayal and even a cover-up. A huge reason for this feeling of devastation is that the names of survivors, people who had been protected for years under Jane Doe pseudonyms, were just published in these files. For them, it feels like the government broke a fundamental promise to keep them safe. Gloria Allred, who's a really prominent attorney for many of the victims, she put it very bluntly, any trust her clients had in the government, it's gone. As she said, the government has not earned that trust.
The government is literally redacting so many random stuff. Yeah, but they somehow didn't redact the names of the people that they were supposed to be protecting. Like, what is going on here? Right.
This feeling of betrayal, it leads us right to the biggest question of all. A question that really suggests this whole story is far, far from over. Okay, so the government announced the release of about 3.5 million documents. I mean, that's a massive number, right? But wait a second, here's the catch. Earlier reports were suggesting that the total number of documents being reviewed was actually closer to 6 million. So you do the math, that leaves a gap of 2.5 million files just unaccounted for. So the obvious question is, where are they? Now, the official government line is that these missing files are just not relevant, or that they're legally confidential. But for the victims and for a lot of critics, that explanation just doesn't cut it. It just fuels the suspicion of a cover-up, and it leaves us with one final, really unsettling question. In a case where victims' names are being revealed while millions of official documents stay hidden, what does justice even look like? Welcome to The Explainer.
Like, a lot of things are just so weird about this. The fact that not a lot of arrests have been done. Well, okay, we have started seeing some people being sued. Yeah, obviously Prince Andrew has been told to not Prince Andrew is not a prince anymore, but has been told to testify. A lot of this elites like Middleton, whatever it's Middleton, I can't remember the name. But a lot of these elites are getting sued in their respective countries in their respective countries. So we are seeing some action, but we want more of those. We want to see where the client is, where all those things. All of those have been destroyed. Probably people are saying probably because it has connection with the CIA and all that stuff. I'm not going to go into speculations or conspiracy theories, but come on, the government got to do better. Okay, I'm glad that we have pushed them far enough to be able to release Epstein Files, but they got to be able to. They got to be clear about stuff, and they shouldn't be releasing the names of the victims, because I guess maybe that's a subtle message. I just occurred to me now. Maybe that's a subtle message that if release more of his stuff come out, but that's illegal. Like, they shouldn't be releasing the name of the victims, but it should show us who were the people involved. So I guess they showed us a bunch of stuff, but it feels like there's still a lot more than they're holding back.